Hello and welcome to Super Saturdays, a comic book media podcast where each episode will be focusing on your favorite comic books, TV shows, and movies to figure out if these projects will stand the test of time. I'm Damon A, and on today's episode, I'm joined by
Yasmin, yet again.
Hey, good to have you back, Yas.
Good to be back.
All right, well, on with the show. Every
It gives
time,
me
every time, I just got to make the little sound effects just to just to carry us in. Yes.
Make it feel real.
All right, so Yaz, I got a question for you. Are you ready to dive into some news roundup? So we got two pieces of news for you today, Yaz.
Okay.
One of which is very, very, very connected to what we're talking about today, and the other one is just something that's really interesting to me. So Variety has came out and they confirmed that DCU's film slate, the one that was announced by James Gunn, it is completely safe from Warner Brothers pulling some bullshit and canceling movies and taking them off as tax write-offs. So the way it was explained is that DCU movies are separate from Warner Brothers. It's like a whole separate studio, but they're still under each other. It's kind of like a parent company situation, which still is confusing to me, but like I get it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And James Gunn shows his support for the recent movie that Warner Brothers canceled, which is Coyote versus Acme. Yes, are you a Looney Tunes fan?
I was a big Looney Tunes fan growing up. Always at my grandma's house watching Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, all that old shit. Love Bugs Bunny. Love Daffy's gay ass. Love it. All of it.
I got you. I got you. I was kind of interested in this kind of like Coyote versus Acme movie primarily because it looked funny. It had John.
Cancel?
Yeah, that got canceled. Well, I mean, it was, but since James Gunn came out, Warner Brothers said that the filmmakers are allowed to shop the movie around to other studios.
So you can forget about it. That's not gonna happen. So yeah.
Hey, who knows? Apparently, I think Amazon is showing some interest in it. All right, well, I have some Lady Killer news for you as well too. Let me know if you knew about this or not. Did you know last year it was announced Lady Killer was going to be turned into a movie? Mm. It was, yes, 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 yes. And guess who's going to be playing the titular character?
Who? Don't make me mad. Who?
I'm gonna need you to guess.
Okay, let me think. Is this like a super? Are we talking about like A-list actress? Like who are
I
we
mean,
thinking?
I would say she was A list. I mean, I would still say she's A list, but like not as A list. I'd say her time was like in the late early to mid 2000s. Then it slowed down, but she still does some stuff. Her husband is
Sandra?
like a huge A list though.
Okay, not Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. I feel like I don't know. I couldn't see her. You know what? I could see younger Sandra Bullock doing it though. I could see that.
She's like 50 now. That was not a good guess. Who?
Blake Lively.
Oh my God! Don't piss me off. Don't piss me. Don't piss me off.
Yeah, no, it's Blake Lively, and then the movie is going to be written by Diablo Cody.
Damn, dog.
Diablo Cody writing, I'm not 100% against it. I think that could be like really interesting because Jennifer's body, but I don't know. I don't know. And then Blake Lively doing it. I mean, she got the mole, so that's good.
Anybody can have them all, David.
You
I
know,
just feel
but
like anybody. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a casting director. I just have opinions. I don't know about Blake, but
well,
if
who
she says so,
who who would you want to cast? Who would you want to play Josie?
anybody else.
I can't even think of somebody who I would cast.
I can't either.
Like I can't right now. Like I'm so like out of touch.
I keep thinking of Margot Robbie, but no.
You know, if Margot Robbie wasn't like doing almost every single big role,
Yeah,
I could
she's
see.
looking good.
Honestly, Margot Robbie would ate it up.
She would. She eats everything the fuck up though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I could see Lady Gaga doing it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't see that.
Okay, okay. Like I can't even think of anything right now. I can't think of any like A list actress. Like, oh, you know what? You know what? I can think of Samara Weaving. She was in
Okay,
Ready or Not. I mean,
so other Margot Robbie. Good
yeah.
look. Let's get Emma Mackey down here too.
Shit. What's your thoughts on the '60s and the fashion and just the vibes and the looks?
Supreme vibes in the 60s. I'm a more of a 40s type of girl, but I do love the 60s. Let me tell you what they had in the 60s. Twiggy, Danielle Luna, Jane Birkin, Cher, Diana Ross, everybody else was there. Let me give you some movies.
Breakfast at Tiffany's was there.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, Rosemary's Baby.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Whatever happened to Baby Jane? One of the greatest movies of all time, if you ask me.
Planet of the
Uh,
Apes.
Planet of the Apes,
The Graduate.
Psycho, West Side Story, greatest musical of all time. I will not debate that.
We spent a lot of time on this damn tangent. So, are you ready to dive in?
Yeah, yes.
All right, let's dive in. All right, Lady Killer chronicles the bloody exploits of Josie Scholler, a seemingly stereotypical 60s era housewife who just so happens to moonlight as a contract killer. My first thoughts after reading this book, because Soups, we're doing volume 1, only volume 1, we're not talking about volume 2. First thoughts was I loved the art. Love the art. I love the little detail in between the panels where there's like ink splatters to simulate blood. I loved the bright colors. I loved, even within the writing, there's a lot of different allusions to feminism and just certain things within that era and kind of juxtaposing it with today, even though the book completely just stands within that era. And there's the world just felt lived in. Like it felt very lived in. Like I felt like there was nothing that wasn't thought out prior. And yeah, I liked it a lot. What was your first thoughts?
I loved it. I was like my very first thought, because if you know me, I'm a Lucille Ball stan. So I was like, this is just an evil Lucy. Lucy was I love Lucy, came out in the 50s. Anyways, yeah, she's just a anyways. But yeah, I really did love the art. She's very, very beautiful. I am so glad they drew her like this. Very beautiful lady, pretty woman, gorgeous girl. Love her. The fashion, um, we'll move issue to issue, but the fashion in this is wonderful. She was giving me uh Jackie Kennedy, the eyes closer together, but she
Oh,
was
you know something?
she
I wasn't even gonna make a Jackie Kennedy episode. I mean,
oh, I've been
joke.
sitting on her Jackie Kennedy
I wasn't. I was not gonna make a Jackie O joke this episode. Yes, but you forced my fucking hand. I did make a note saying that she did remind me of Jackie Kennedy in the first moment we saw Josie. Like, but you know, but my bad for interrupting. Keep talking about what you were thinking.
You can't. It's the pillbox hat. That's classic Jackie Kennedy.
I think that
60.
along with like the eye color and then like the black bob, like it was just giving Jackie Kennedy, but like
Like
idealized Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie.
Oh, you know, I also said that she kind of reminded me of like Mrs. Monarch from Venture Rose as well too. The way that she was looking.
She this really reminded me of Double Indemnity with Barbara Stanwyck. in a very roundabout way. Like it's not double indemnity, but it is. Or like the postman always rings twice.
Mm.
Something about it. I think it's just because she's killing people, but that's what it gave me. And she looked good doing it. Very good.
Since we're talking about her, let's talk about a couple of the characters. So, what was your thoughts on Josie, like as a main character?
Um well, my first thought was how dumb is her fucking husband?
Listen, I have a couple of things I have to say about her fucking husband, but like for me, Josie, like I felt like we didn't really get to learn a lot about her. We just learned that like, and it's kind of like you're talking about what movies this book kind of get like was making you like the vibes it's giving you. It was kind of giving me Kill Bill vibes because I fucking love Kill Bill. Love that movie. Love that movie. And the thing that's interesting is that like you get more information about the bride over the two movies, and throughout this first book, you get a little bit more information about Josie as it goes on. And the big question that I had that I wrote down for you that I kind of wanted to talk about too, since we're on the topic of Josie, is that like after reading it, it kind of left me wondering, does Josie even enjoy being a housewife? Because we have instances where it kind of seems like she doesn't like it. She
It seems
primarily,
like it's a job to her.
yeah,
Uh,
like it's
we don't
annoying to
really
her.
know anything about her really, and I can't really tell if she likes her husband, those kids, or just her entire. It seems like she's okay with being an assassin, whatever, a hitman, whatever, hitwoman, whatever. But when it comes to her home life, it does not. It feels like disconnected in a way.
Yeah,
You know,
like she's leaving all the
more.
time.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know. She was. I don't know. I feel like we just don't know like anything about her like at all.
I think because I
Really.
was like doing a little bit of research for this episode that like by part three is when we start learning a little bit more about her. Haven't read part three. I've read part two, but and I'm pretty sure part three came out last year. But I don't know, like we didn't really learn too much about her. Which,
We just see her on her job, and I don't.
yeah,
I'm. I just want something more than I don't. I don't feel like I should have to read two, three books before I get to know the main character of the
hmm
story. I don't know.
I think like for me, I think we get to learn like she still is engaging. It just left you wanting more. But I think that's kind of one of the
Yeah,
reasons as to why like this book was like really paced. Like it was really paced fast, and I get it because it was a miniseries, 5 issue miniseries. So I get it. You gotta like boom, 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 and get to where you gotta get to. But it felt like everybody else around her got. You could understand who they were within their first introduction, whereas with Josie, it's more like
like where's this
okay,
doing?
exactly, because like okay, she enjoyed like I got the vibes that she loves her husband, she loves her kids, and she's wanting to live a normal life. But I think maybe that's the point of the book is where it's like trying to tell you like yeah, she wants a normal life, but secretly she doesn't even like that normal life because it's she seemed more happier doing her hitman work, which is probably why she was just like getting rid of her housewife responsibilities. And I'm not saying because she had to, because fuck that. I'm saying like more like the life that she wants, she's trying to live, and wanting to do more of the hitman assassin work, which I think maybe that's one of the things that like within the book it's trying to like basically leave you wondering, I guess. Now speaking about her husband Gene, he doesn't do shit in this book, which I get it. It's kind of like the Ken thing where he's just there. But this bitch is sexist as fuck. And I get it. It's the 60s. I get it. He's supposed to be, your typical husband. But like the part that got me is when after like we meet Josie where she like murders, the random ass lady. She gets home. She's sitting on the couch with her husband, across from her mother-in-law. Her husband doesn't have pants on. He's just in his underwear. And the doorbell rings, and then like he's like, "Oh, go get that, would you, Josie?
Who?
Go
I
get
wanted,
that.
I wanted to pull my hair out of my head. I wanted
Go
to
get
rip.
that."
Go get it. The
Go
TV,
get it.
if
Mm-mm.
I'm not mistaken, the TV is going like describing the situation that's happening with them. It's like get your feet off the table, do that, do this. And he's just half like ass out. He is just a dumb, yeah, like you said, Ken. He just doesn't, just stupid
For
in the
no
way.
fucking reason. And it's
Yep.
just like I don't know. I think there's like certain glimmers where we kind of get him having like good moments, like when he brought their kids to see her working, what they think or whatever.
Absolutely.
Um, just I don't know, and you know something like I will say Josie is the main character. She does feel like the main character, but it just doesn't feel like we learn too much about her as the main character. I guess. You know, what was your thoughts on Peck?
Just another misogynistic piece of shit. Oh my god. At first, the first introduction of him with them talking, was it them talking outside? Yeah, he knocks on the door. I thought he was kind of okay. I was like, oh, that's cute. She should be with him. And then the story goes on. I'm like, like the constant like sexist and misogynistic comments. Like, oh, okay. I thought there was gonna be more scenes with them interacting because they're limited interactions. They kind of had like a rapport. Like they were kind of cool, but he was, you know, he's. It felt like she's cool with him and he's cool with her, but he doesn't know how to act, and he is this way, and she's like, I thought I don't know. I feel like they have like probably do, but they have like a history, an unspoken history that I would like to see.
You know that's what I was thinking about too, because I think like because I think he hinted at like there's a reason as to why she doesn't use guns, which I thought that was kind of cool that she does not use guns. She chooses not to use guns. She's
Mhm.
just that badass, so she does it with her bare hands or knives or that type of shit.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
love it.
So like he hinted at that there's like the reason or some shit like that when they were younger or some shit like that. I don't
And
fucking
he was
know.
like, "This is what got us in this situation in the first place."
Yeah,
I
which
like
it
to
just
see that. Like what? Like
I would like to see it.
I would like to see it.
I would like to see it.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see it. Like and going back to what you were saying about how they're having like history or whatever. It was interesting because at first, the first couple of appearances, it kind of felt like, yeah, he was coming like laying it on thick and flirting with her overtly, and she was still like, I'm married, but like at some instances at the beginning, it kind of felt like she was kind of flirting back just a little bit,
Yeah,
and it
that's what
made,
it felt like. It's like, do they have
yeah,
a thing going on, or
yeah, like did they back in the day? Like I feel like they might have been
like
that.
just a lot of unspoken things left unsaid?
A lot of things. I think that's the reason why I feel so lived in. Like something about it, kind of like one of the reasons why I like fucking Kill Bill so much is that because I watched it not too long ago, and the thing I liked about that movie was just that like it felt so lived in and left a lot of unanswered questions about how does that assassination or how does this assassin organization work? Is the assassin organization similar to human trafficking and all the other type of shit? Like all this other type of shit. And same with this book. Like it made me wonder a lot of different things. And I don't know. I don't know. So what was a couple moments you liked a lot from the book?
When she was working, I don't want to feel like I don't want to sound like I'm objectifying women, but she looked that kitty cat club. Oh, mother, she looked no that kitty cat club scene when she killed him. Loved it. She looked great. Loved it. But my other favorite when she couldn't kill the kid. Okay, again, history and things left unsaid. I know it's like it's hard to kill children.
Wait a second. Wait a second. It's hard to kill. Do you think she should have killed the kid?
No,
Oh, you
no.
hesitated with that though. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, Soups. Yeah, said fuck them kids. Okay.
I am not a child murderer. Anyways, look at me like that. Anyways, it was her crying in the car, crying in the car after all that, and I just wanted, not wanted. I was just thinking about like if she felt like was she still up to do be an assassin, whatever she is. Does she still want to like be who she is part time when her husband's like his head turned like 15 degrees to the left? Like I don't know. It was cool to see.
Just there's just so much shit within this book that, especially going back to what we were talking about with the whole feminism as angles and shit like that. Uh, the part that kind of made me fucking irritated is when her boss was having the conversation with her about her going soft and all that type of shit, and then when he had that conversation with Peck and his reasoning, it kind of was just giving, oh, whenever a guy is within this role, yeah, they like at some point it changes them and then we gotta like snuff them out. Like she couldn't possibly handle a double life. But within the book, you saw that she was able to handle it pretty well. Like,
He was doing just fine.
yeah, like she was like making dinner on the stove. She was like
Right.
taking like taking the kids to ballet.
Like it was nothing. It's just sexism. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Like I just a lot of this different stuff in this book was really interesting. My next question for you is, what was your thoughts on Mother Schuler though? I know we didn't really see much of her in this book, but I just found it funny as fuck when the party was happening and her mother-in-law just assumed that like, oh, she cheating on my son. You know what? I'm gonna have to confront her. And the fact that Josie gaslit the fuck out of her and said, listen, I was reading that book and I was like, Josie just gaslit the fuck, and then on top of that, held eye contact and was like, you know what? You're tired. You don't know what you're talking about.
Gaslighting down. What are you talking about? What man? What?
Maybe no. She even said you're delusional.
You must be. You need to go to bed. You should go to bed. Are we being too loud? I think you should go to bed.
Actually, no.
Damn.
I'm gonna tell Jean that we're gonna look at some homes to put you in. And Gene probably would sign off on that shit because he was so oblivious. He in this book, Gene was fucking oblivious as fuck. He did not listen. She ran that house. Like, there's a couple of different scenes where Josie was like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to go and like talk to my sister and X, Y, and Z," and then Gene was like, "Okay, yeah, go for it." Even she was kind of shook. She was like,
She's like,
"Oh, oh."
even she was weirded the fuck out. Like, oh, oh.
Are you sure? You can tell me. No, no, it's fine. Go.
No, go ahead. You got it. Okay. And it was such a weird situation. I would have been like, what are you talking about? Just a dumb man. I was so annoyed. But I think that's the only way she could get around. If he wasn't that fucking stupid, who knows what she would have been doing? She probably would have been caught by now.
She probably would have been, but then again, I don't know because like I'm thinking about the '60s and the stereotypical house wife and the like husband. He'd be going to work and not giving a fuck about anything. So like I don't know, but then again, there's a whole other aspect of the abuse and shit that happened back then too. So he probably was nickel and diming. No, speaking of nickel and diming, the last lines in this book where he kind of insinuated that like she's using his money, talked to her like she was a damn child and said that like, maybe you should go into business. It'd be good to have your own money or whatever.
She's like, girl, you might be right. Maybe I should.
It was the way the panels like were laid out. Like you could see her face, like where it was like a little like her eyebrow was raised for a second, like okay.
Be the Avon lady again, stab another woman in the chest.
Not Rihanna.
Don't you
What?
talk about
I
my
heard
Avon lady.
Avon. I heard Avon, and I thought about Rihanna. Listen,
Don't
there's
you talk
nothing.
about my Avon lady like that.
Listen. Avon is calling, or should I say Fenty is calling.
My mom was an Avon lady. You cannot get rid of that. I still got Avon in the
Well, your mom was Avon lady.
where she got stuff from Avon. I got Avon everywhere in this fucking house.
Listen, Avon has some good shit. They did. Still, I think Avon is still around too.
Maybe for like 6-year-olds.
Said 60 or 6?
60.
Oh, I was about to be like, what 6-year-old needs to get rid of wrinkles? I think one of the things that's going to kind of shoot my rating for this book in the foot is that I get it. I love it for what it is, but
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it was a mini series kind of ate up the story because
Mm-hmm.
like things happen in a breakneck speed, especially at the end. Uh I remember my first time reading this book. It was I think it was like a couple years ago when it and actually I think I read it when it was coming out. Now that I think about it, and when I got to that final issue, I was like, did I miss something? Because they do like a little time jump, and then you're missing all this information. If I am correct, I remember Lady Killer 2 was able to like do better with the pacing and it gave you more information.
I haven't read the second one yet. I would hope that we get a little bit more like personality and backstory to these people because the first volume, it really wasn't. It was just this is this and that's that. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
was. It wasn't much depth really.
It
And
was
at
like
the end,
a nice little short story almost. My bad. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it was fine for what it was. I'm not trying to say it needs to have a fucking whole fucking character analysis in it, but it would be nice. Maybe, what again? I haven't read the second or third volume, but it would be nice to have a little bit of personality or something. And at the end, I was what's his name, Irving, and the mother-in-law. I was curious about their backstory. She's like, I know that man.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? I was interested in that, but I don't know. I'll have to read the next. It was good for what it was.
I like that the mother-in-law, she was like, just like we saw her being like a stone wall the entire book, and then when she noticed the dude, she was kind of frazzled, and she was like just telling Josie like I knew him during my time in the war and da 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 da, because we know that like they're German and everything. So it's like I'm not finna spoil it for you. Why was I gonna say Zaz? What the fuck?
Nope.
I'm not. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, Yaz. But and I'm also not gonna spoil it for the soups. But like we learn a little bit more about what happened. We even learned some more about the mother-in-law's past. Joel Jones's art fucking phenomenal in this book. But let's move on to the rates. What would you give this?
um, I'd give this a 4.
Okay. Okay. Why four?
Because well, not to be a vintage lover, but it was a very pretty story to look at, for one. And like I said, it is what it was. It wasn't trying to be anything else. It wasn't trying to be like I don't know. I'm kind of contradicting myself, but if I if this was the only volume, if it was just this, I would be yeah. It was very good for what it was. I'll say that. That's what I'm trying to say. It was very good for what it was. The characters were fine, not fine. I'm not trying to undermine it, but it was very good for what it was. She's an assassin, and she's killing people, and she's living a double life. I think that automatically gives it a 3, if you ask me. So, yeah.
Okay. I would give it a 4 too, because I agree with you. It accepts what it is. Like it is what it is, and I love it. for that. I loved how feminine the art was. Like it was very what's the word I'm looking for? Con. Like uh like it was. It was serving. It was serving. It was serving. It was serving his mother, if you will. But anyways, jokes aside though, no, it was really fun. Like I loved the art. It was very bouncy, it was very kinetic, and it was very gory, but it was tastefully gory. Like it just felt very stylized. And I eat stylized shit up. Like this, I could see this being animated. I could see this art transitioning very well, and even the panel layouts to movies. Like the thing that I liked most about this is that this really does feel like something that could do well being adapted. Now, I'm not saying all comics have to be adapted. Like that's not a thing I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that this story was really it hit all the points and marks that it was trying to set forth. It talked about topics that it wanted to touch on in a really decent way. And you know something, I think another thing going back to the whole knowing what it is, it didn't try to sugarcoat the 60s. Like it acknowledged all of the negative parts except for racism, but this wasn't that type of story that it was trying to
Yeah,
tell.
it didn't need it. It didn't need it. It didn't need it.
Exactly. Because it talked about, you know, the housewives thing. It talked about sexism. It even talked about like actually it kind of did touch on racism a little bit, especially the way the kids were in the Native American costumes. But like it just touched on every little bits and piece.
What I really liked, like you said, how it being very 60s. Her neighbor coming over, pregnant as
It
all
was giving
hell.
Bewitched.
Huh?
Oh you meant the pregnant neighbor that was smoking?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
I put that on my notes. She was smoking a damn cigarette and pregnant. What the fuck? Oh
Very
my
60s,
god.
baby.
That baby is finna come out just but very would that be a boomer? Would that be a boomer? Would that be a boomer? Would that her baby be a boomer?
Boomers, no, Boomers was 59 and
Oh, so that would that be a Gen Xer? Mm.
Jen. Yeah,
Oh, well shit. All right. Well, but no, I just yeah, no, I would say this book is a 4. And with that, I would say it'll stand the test of time. Do you think it's
I
gonna stand
agree.
the test of time?
Yes, I do.
I do too. All right, well, let's close this out. I want to know, Soups, what do you think Lady Killer is going to stand the test of time? Be sure to let us know on Instagram at Super Saturdays Podcast, TikTok at Super Saturdays Pod, and Twitter at Super Saturday PC, where your messages and your reviews can make their way on the show. This is Super Saturdays. I'm Damon.
And I'm Yasmin. And please let us know who you would cast as Josie in the movie.
Yes, who would you
Not
cast as
Margot
Josie?
Robbie.
All right, well, see you next Saturday, Soups.